chicas and chicas, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to new members of our community. My name is Yasa, and I'm a violinist. I moved from Saint Petersburg, Russia to United States, Florida, almost 10 years ago now. My life changed upside down, and I'm here to make this pandemic time a little bit more fun for me, and maybe for someone else, for you, and share with you my journey, and talk to you about some random stuff that I find interesting and probably you could relate. I was wondering recently, why do the visual arts, the artistry in general, specifically the museums, right, the painting galleries, seem to be not very popular, right? It's not the most popular place, and I went to a museum yesterday, and I was pretty much alone with my friend with who we went. We were alone there, and seems like people are willing to risk this pandemic. In this pandemic, they're willing to risk their lives for food. Restaurants were full capacity, but no one is willing to risk their lives for the art. And I'm thinking, what is the value of art, specifically visual art, and why is it seems to be dying, and how, if ever, if needed be, why do we need to keep it alive, and how, if we do need to keep it alive, how do we do that? Well, first of all, I really feel like this is an essential part of just being a human. This is a human experience of life, to be creative. So that's how we're experiencing life. We are creative creatures. We dance, right, from thousands of years. From the first tribal existence, people were dancing, playing drums, singing, uttering some kind of screams that later we could call singing, trying to write down their life story, right? Those ancient hieroglyphs and ancient remnants and artifacts that we find from thousands and hundreds of thousands years ago, right? Then later it became much more complex, and art these days is at the level of distraction, I think, right? At some point we achieved already the level of creation, the perfect paintings, as close to reality as possible, right? Those paintings of 16th, 17th, 18th century, the paintings are so close, the portraits, for example, so close to reality, or even visages, even the landscapes, so close to reality that it's almost like a photograph. And that perfection, there were no way to move forward from this. And now we started the process of destruction. So, for example, the art of 20th century, 21st century seems to be a lot, reminiscent on the past. For example, when we have pop art, right? When we kind of incorporate famous paintings like Mona Lisa, and then Duchamp would put, Marcel Duchamp would put a mustache on it, right? So it's a separate artwork now, or just a psychedelic destructive paintings that doesn't have any subject per se, but it just has an emotion. It has just outlining, right? After Cubism, after all the movements of 20th century, now we're at the point when we just spatter the paint on the canvas and just see how it appeared to be, a famous artist did. And it's all an art, and it all has merits, and it all all definitely has the right to exist. And especially living in Florida, I started to appreciate all the modern art of modern living artists, because I don't have much classical art here, and I appreciate what I have. And living artists are as brilliant as before, just different means of exploring and explaining and expressing oneself. And since this is an essential part of being a human, art is the most advanced form of our expression on Earth. So we can consume, we can learn, and then we can produce, and then we can create. So this is how I see it, is the higher stage of human expression on Earth, creations. So looking on the art from that point of view, this is a treasure. This is something that we have to really cherish and appreciate. Our artworks and creations of fellow human beings. But besides that, visual art really develops a certain part of the brain, right? Like music develops one part of the brain, math another. Visual art works with different neurons, different electrons, different part of the brain, which is so essential for the complex development, right, of our brain. So if we want to be a complex human being, if we want to be well-rounded and fully developed, right, we want to encourage our kids to go to museums, to see visual art, to educate, to consume that world that they are not familiar with. So I think that there is not enough emphasis on the importance of visual art. First of all, I think the ways of making it more accessible have to be absolutely free entrance for everyone. So I believe that art museums have to be free, and there have to be some kind of commercial involvement in this. For example, I'm thinking we have to advertise it on TV. How cool is that, to go to a museum and take selfies with paintings? It is happening. I see it a lot. And I was always kind of apprehensive of that movement. Is these people there just to take selfies and say that they went to a museum, or are they there to enjoy the art? But now I understand, whatever the reason they're there, thank goodness they're there. I'm happy to see them. And please post as many paintings as you can. Just bring people to the arts, because to art museums, just allow them to experience it and understand that this is not scary. I wanted to really say in this video that we are afraid of anything highbrow, we're afraid of anything unknown. Please know that you don't have to know anything about a painting or a genre or a movement or that particular painter before going to a museum. You can just communicate with colors. You can just see your initial response. If you like that painting, if it speaks to you, if it kind of stands out, give it a chance, come closer. It's not gonna bite. Stand in front of it for a while and just see what you feel. Just kind of immerse yourself into, allow it to draw you in, allow it to suck you in, the energy of the painting. They all have energies. The colors are so vibrant or so intense. Think of Mark Rothko. He is an American painter who just uses colors as his media, and it could be 2 or 3 colors, just blocks of colors, but it's so powerful. He was saying that he's not just working with colors, he is dealing with life and death matters. He's dealing with angel battling devil of importance of a matter. So this is how serious those things are, and don't think that if it's just colors, this is not a serious business, okay? And once you allow a painting, once you allow it to enchant you, once you allow it to enter your heart, then you're going to get curious. You're going to probably pick up an audio guide next time you go to a museum. You're going to listen, what's the story behind this painting? What's that guy deal, that painter? And you'll find out that more often than not, it's a tragic story of a suffering soul, and they either died in poverty or jumped out of the window, or they're my favorite painter, Egon Schiele, died when he was only 28 years old from Spanish flu at the beginning of 20th century. A couple of days later, couple of days before his death, his pregnant wife, died, and a little bit shortly before that, he finished a painting called Family, where he painted himself, his wife, and their future baby. And in a matter of months or weeks, they both passed away. And 100 years later, I go to a museum, I see that painting, and I'm connected to that person living 100 years before me, dying from hunger, dying from poverty, and from with broken heart, seeing his pregnant wife die in front of his eyes. I feel his pain, I can relate, I have goosebumps, and I'm experiencing profound sense of catharsis. Catharsis is a Greek word or Latin. Please Google it. That means cleanse, but not cleanse of the body that we're so it's so much in fashion now, right? But cleanse of the soul. And for that cleanse of the soul, we go to museums. And once you do it once, twice, 3 times, you kind of gonna get hooked in, believe me. If it's free, if it's cool, and if you give it a chance, you will want to come back again and again. They are going to be your friends. The paintings, the painters, they're going to tell you their stories, their loves. Oh my goodness, what about those love stories? So many triangles and love triangles and unbelievably shocking stories, like a telenovela. And all of that in paintings. It will be so fascinating to see their faces and how they're portrayed and know the story behind it. Oh, knowing all the scoop, believe me, you are gonna get hooked. So let's go to museums, wear your mask, and let's go to museums. If you like the content that I'm doing, if you feel that, if you are on the same wave as me, please like and subscribe, and I'm wishing you a wonderful day, and see you in the museum. Please tell me what's your favorite painting. Пока. Bye.